All right. How is everyone doing? I'm just going to pull up my Facebook really quickly to make sure if I can see the videos live, but Zoom is telling me that it is. We just prepare everything. Sweet, we're good. Awesome. I'm just going to wait a few minutes, for everyone to get on, or more people at least to get on. But feel free to say hello, of course, in the comments. I'll be watching those. And just let me know how you are doing. How are you handling this week so far? All this Aries energy, squares coming in from Aries to Capricorn. All right. I think I've got everything coming up. I just figured I would take some time today to talk about the full moon in Libra, which is going to be happening on Saturday. Oh, perfect. Good. I'm seeing some comments now. Hi, Joseph. Wonderful. I decided to do this kind of last minute, in the true spirit of Uranus, because I was like, I don't know if anything like unexpected really happened with me today. Oh, do I have this light on back here? Okay, good. The lighting on my laptop isn't as good as the lighting on the camera that I use to film my dailies and my weeklies. But yeah, I decided to kind of do this last minute. I want to start doing like videos every full moon and every new moon because it's fun. Why not? I'm a Cancer rising, so technically I'm ruled by the moon. So figured I would, and just thought today would be the day. Awesome. Hey, Peter. Good afternoon. Where are you? I was like, it's 7 o'clock at night over here. Awesome. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that sounds great. Feel free to watch later. Have fun. Oh, thanks, Geraldine. I'm glad. I'm so happy to hear that. Feel free to write any comments or any questions that you have. I'll try to answer those. Yeah, or just how you're feeling too. It helps me to know what's going on. Sweet. Yeah, I just wanted to spend some time talking about what's going on with all this stuff in Aries and with Libra. I think a lot of this stuff going on with the Sun in Aries. I mean, Venus is about to move out, but I think just a lot of. I think we just want to get a lot of things done, start to do things. I mean, we just came out of the haze. There was tons of stuff, planets in Pisces, I think bringing up some confusion. A few days ago, a week or two, we had a bunch of stuff in Pisces. And now that a lot of planets are out of Pisces, some of the confusion is starting to clear. And I think we're starting to try to, as best that we can, make more progress, get more clarity in life, do some things that it is that we really want to do. And I think we're finding with all of these planets squaring Aries from Capricorn that maybe it's a little bit harder than we were hoping for when it comes to making the progress that we wanted. It was going to take a lot more effort and things along those lines. And so I think that's kind of where we are now, where it's like, okay, like maybe there are less emotional issues going on, less things from the past that are holding us back in some way that are going on. But now it's just trying to bring it all together. That could be the problem. Maybe there's so much going on that it could be a little bit hard to make happen. Or there's just a lot of different moving parts. And I think that's what the challenge now is going to start to be the past week and moving into this next month in March. Right. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'll bring the chart up in a second now that I've got more of you on here. And just to let you all know, I am doing a webinar for the month of April tomorrow at 6 p.m. my time, which is going to be what? 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. So if you are interested in learning more about what's going on this next month, please join me there. There's a link in the description for this video if you want to sign up. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Geraldine. Yeah, I'm a Cancer too. So I like that. Hey, AJ. Awesome. Thanks, Debbie. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll pull up the chart. I actually, to be honest with you, don't know if I have too much to say about this full moon in Libra, so I might keep it kind of short and sweet today. But I did just want to give you a little bit of a message, see if you had anything to say that you wanted answered, and then I will go through the signs a little bit as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and start to pull up the chart. Gonna get my screen share. Here we are. Okay. A wild week, AJ. Yeah, I believe it. The astrology for this week, it wasn't really like my favorite, to be honest, with all these squares coming in, the Venus-Uranus conjunction for sure. I definitely think it's been a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, Horus, sorry, I'm a Gemini. I've got a bunch of planets in Gemini, but I'm a Cancer rising. Okay, so here we are. I like to get my little wand out so you can follow. Or I wonder if I should draw. Should I draw today? Maybe I'll do that. Okay. So here we are. Aries, the sun's in Aries right here, going on. And it's going to be there for about a month. And that's what's bringing our attention to really, I think, wanting to do things, wanting to overcome the past. That's what the full moon to me and Pisces on top of Chiron was all about overcoming the past, healing from the past, and moving on. And now with these planets that are hanging out in Aries, they've all left Pisces. And now they're all in Aries for the most part, even though Venus is going to slip into Taurus very soon. It's still in Aries, but by the weekend, it'll be there. I think we're trying to overcome the past, heal from the past, and now we're just trying to do things to make things happen and to move forward, okay? So I think that's what's going on. A lot of times I would say with Aries season being very exciting, very passionate, doing lots of things, planting lots of seeds for the future with Aries. But the problem we have here is that all these Aries planets now are squaring. When I think square, I usually think difficult. Squares require lots of effort, sometimes to overcome. Mars and Saturn happening. So as we're finally trying to overcome the past, to do some things, to move forward, to feel more free, to be ourselves, we've then got a lot of pressure coming from Capricorn saying, okay, do what you want, but make sure that you're doing it right, that you're putting it in the right direction, and that everything is going according to plan. Okay, and this Mars and Saturn conjunct, I like to think is a good thing, but it can definitely bring up a lot of just feeling like there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of things you want, a lot of things you need. And I think that's the hard part, is like, I want to feel free to do what I want. I thought I had kicked the past behind, and maybe I have, more or less, but now I got to bring everything else together that I think that we're trying to work out, which a lot of you have seen me talk about time and again, these squares coming into Capricorn, which is a big thing. Then what we get over here, as this is happening, coming in, and with some unexpected things also occurring, also with Mercury going retrograde. Maybe I'll talk about that first. So as we're trying to move forward, doing some things that we want, having to make sure that we're doing it right with the squares to Capricorn, that we're taking care of our responsibilities so that we're not just throwing our responsibilities to the wind, but that we're doing it. We've doing it in the right ways. We've got some unexpected crazy stuff coming up over here with Uranus and Venus, bringing unexpected insights, things that maybe are a little bit upsetting to your sense of stability coming in. And then we've also got Mercury going retrograde too, asking you to rethink who it is that you are, who it is that you thought you were, how you do things in some way. And I think all of that's like what's starting to hit us, is that we're realizing, okay, like in order for me to do the things that I want and need, I have to make sure that the things that I'm doing are really right for me, are really important to me, and that I'm taking all of these unexpected things into account so that I can make decisions moving forward, doing things in a way that really resonates with what with who I really am now that things have changed. And then we get the moon over here in Libra, which is the opposite sign of Aries, of course, because that's what makes a full moon, is when the moon opposes the sun. Coming in, really bringing more of our focus and our attention, of course, to balance and to relationships and to working with other people. And that's a little bit hard when you have a lot of planets going on in Aries. I mean, to me, full moons in general are a little bit hard because they're opposition. So whenever you get a full moon, you get the sun in one sign and you get a moon in the opposite. It's like your desires are totally different. You know, your identity wants one thing. Right now with the sun in Aries, we want to act. Aries rules yourself as an individual. I don't want to wait on other people. I got things I need to do, you know, I have to make this happen. And then you've got the moon opposing the sun in a totally different place of mind, thinking, okay, fine, you want to do what you want to do, but there are other people you have to take into consideration. There are other things going on right now that you can't just fall by the wayside and you can't just run over. You know, you have to make sure that we're bringing all of this together. And I think that's what's coming in with the moon this weekend of the full moon. You can see it right here, March 31st, 2018 at 5:39 a.m. Mountain Time is when this moon is going to happen. And so I think that's what we're trying to figure out is, okay, we want to do things, we want to make things happen in our own way, but we have to make sure that we're tending to other people, that we're finding the balance in our lives before we can move forward. All right. And I think that's the difficult part with so much energy coming in, squaring and opposing this moon. It's like, we don't want to pay attention to other people, to the needs of other people, to the needs of all of the different parts of our life in some way. We don't want to find the balance. I think we just want to like go in on everything that we want. We want to do the Aries thing. I don't want to think about what needs to be done or how to do it. You know, that's just going to waste time. You know, I think that's what Aries is saying. And the Libra moon is saying, okay, like I understand that there are things that you want to do and you want to accomplish that maybe you're struggling to accomplish right now, or feeling like it's taking lots of work and lots of time. But in order for you to accomplish the things that you really, really want to do, you need to be patient. You need to find the balance with Libra, and you need to work with other people, because if you don't take that time to find the balance and to be patient, then everything's gonna go crazy. You know, everything's gonna be in total chaos all the time. And if you just take the minute now at this full moon to find the balance, to be patient, to stabilize everything that's been going on, it's going to help you much later make things better, even if right now it's a little bit frustrating. Right? Again, with the Libra, which I briefly mentioned too, needing relationships, needing other people. With Aries, I don't want to wait on someone else. You know, it's hard. Like, we have to wait on other people to do things. And I think this full moon is saying, look, if you want to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, like A, you need to be patient. B, you need to find some kind of way to find the stability in all of this so that you can sustain it long term. And C, you need to work with other people, because in order to accomplish some of the things that you want, you need the right people on board with you in order to make it happen. Okay. And so that's what I see this being all about. And I think the full moon in Libra could definitely bring some endings in regards to people or to some projects that we're working on, because maybe we're realizing that there are some people in our life who aren't bringing the balance in. You know, a lot of times I think full moon, I think endings. So I think we're trying to figure out, okay, who do we need in our life that can contribute the most, help us the most to work on some projects that really are important to us. Could also as well be cutting some projects perhaps, because you realize the more I'm going to do all of this other stuff, like the less balance that I'm going to have. It's just not going to work out. And maybe needing to end some of those things as well, so that you can do more of what it is that you want here in Aries without feeling like, you know, things are all over the place. So that can also come in at this full moon. Another thing that can come up, I like to think in addition to endings, are culminations. So if you're not ending a relationship or ending some kind of project so that you can find more of the balance, which will give you more of the freedom to do what you want to do, it could be stepping into a completion of sorts. So finally beginning to understand perhaps another person, your relationships, to understand what the other people in your life need and your relationships, so that you can both work together in a really positive way to accomplish things that it is that you really need. So that can also be something that could come up, as well as the completion, right, of some kind of project that you're working on. And this completion, the point of the completion of a project or whatever's going on, really being so that you can finally find more of that balance in some way, instead of giving all of your attention too much to something or to one part of your life in some way. All right. So to me, that's what's really going on at this full moon. Again, what makes it a little bit difficult is this T-square, as you can see in big red lines from this moon, the sun opposite the moon coming over to Capricorn. So as we're trying to find the balance here in order to do things that it is that we want, I think where all these planets in Capricorn are, at least this is just the way I think of it, are going to provide big choices and big decisions for us in some way. With Mercury going retrograde, I kind of like am cautious. I kind of like hesitate against you making decisions that will last and that will stick for a long time until after the retrograde. But I think now with Mercury going retrograde, going to conjunct the sun, we're starting to get a better idea of what we need, rethink some old decisions, rethink some old commitments so that we can move forward and with the full moon in Libra in a way that's more balanced, working better with people or working with people in the right ways that we need to do some things that we want. All right, if you're feeling, if you're feeling perhaps a little bit confused on how to bring the balance into your life in some way, or on what relationships you need or which ones you don't, I also think this T-square to Capricorn is saying in order for you to figure out what to drop in your life, what needs to be restored, how to restore it, who to work with, you have to think of the Capricorn thing, because whenever I see T-squares, to me, I normally think of an arrow coming in, pointing to the center of the T-square, which is Capricorn, all right, which is going to be 8 degrees Saturn, since the full moon is going to happen at 10 degrees, okay? So to me, if you're having problems figuring out what people do I need in my life, how do I restore the balance, I think the key is to think Capricorn. What do I ultimately want? What do I ultimately value? What do I need the most to get my life in the right direction? Even if I cannot have it right now, where do I see it in the future? All right. And I think that can help you is if right now, if you're struggling in the present with Aries wanting to do things, but having a whole bunch of other things that are bringing you, I don't even know if bringing you down is the word, but are distracting you, then I think the key is to think Capricorn, to think long-term, to do whatever it is that you need to put more of that structure in your life so that you can stay in for the long haul and do some things. And it may also require you to sacrifice some things now in the moment so that you can do the things that it is that you want later, of course, as always with Capricorn coming in. All right. And really needing to figure out where you see yourself long-term, what you want to be known for, the life you ultimately want to live, so that you can find the balance that it is that you need and continue to do more of the things that you want. All right. So that's what I see there. 2 other things I wanted to talk about, and then I will look at the chat and then go into sun sign horoscopes. So let's see. Clear all drawing. Another thing I wanted to mention what's going on, as you will see here, this is actually called a mystic triangle. If you can see it, I'll draw it, that the full moon's making. It's a mystic triangle with the moon. So it's going to be very short-lived since the moon moves very fast, but it's still a mystic triangle nonetheless. And what a mystic triangle is, just for those of you who don't know, is when you've got 2 oppositions, in this case, the nodes, which always oppose each other exactly, and the sun and the moon. And you've got these oppositions that are joined by 2 sextiles, the sun and the north node, or sorry, the moon and the north node, and the sun and the south node, which are also joined by 2 trines. Okay, so this is what makes a mystic rectangle. And what you have is the challenge of the 2 oppositions, which are hard, made easier to handle by the sextiles that they make, because they kind of team up and work together. So this could definitely bring some challenge here between the past, the south node, and the future, trying to figure out how we can step into the future and in Leo be happy, a brighter future, a happier future, doing more of what it is that we really like. And again, trying to find the balance in our life in some way and to work with other people. And I think if you can find ways to find the balance in your life and work with other people by thinking long-term, by thinking about what you want in your life, even if you have to make some hard decisions and hurt some people's feelings in the meantime, I think it's going to help you here to be happier with this North Node in Leo, to really reach some things that it is that you need and to start to make more sense of the past, of some old goals and dreams of yours that were important to you, so that you can start to do more of what it is that you really like. Okay. So yeah, so I see that going on. While that's happening, we also do have Venus, which just moved into Taurus, which I personally also really like. I think is well helping us to bring more stability into our life. So even if there are some things that are all over the place, feeling like we've got so many things going on in our life and it's hard to get a handle on all of them and everything's everywhere and we don't have the help that we need, or we're trying to find the help and finding the relationship support is hard in some way, I think there are some good things that can come from it if you make the hard decisions here, and if you figure out what you need in order to find more of that happiness and move forward. And I think Venus and Taurus is going to help you to stabilize some of this stuff, some of these decisions that you make after this full moon comes in. And of course, as Venus moves further away from Uranus happening, okay? So yeah, so I think that's what I see now. I think that's all I want to talk about at the moment. Let me look at the chat. I'm just gonna take all this off the chart and see what's going on. Awesome. Hey, Brittany, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Danielle, I did talk a little bit about the mystic rectangle. Right, it's a rectangle because it forms the actual shape of a rectangle. Yeah, here, I can go over it one more time. Maybe you listen to my explanation, but I'll just talk about it again. But here's the mystic rectangle. It forms the shape of a rectangle. And it's right, two oppositions that are joined by sextiles and trines. And the oppositions are hard, but it actually gives, when you have a mystic triangle, a lot of support to overcome the struggle of the opposition. So even though there's the struggle coming in between what do I need to make me happy, how can I move forward, how can I do it balanced and with the right people in my life, I think there is a lot of support here to help you figure that out, and really needing to bring these two together to figure out what relationships make you happy, what you need to be happy in life and to put your life in the right direction. I think that's going to be the key. To me, I love, if you watch my videos, I really love sextiles. Because to me, sextiles always indicate opportunity. I mean, sextiles are between two planets, or two objects in this case, since the North Node is not a planet, but they're between two objects that are in complementary signs, and that is Leo and Libra. Things that sextile, they're in complementary elements. And so they're always going to be in like air and fire, or water and earth, or something along those lines, if that makes sense, just to talk about it very simply. So that's why I really like sextiles, because they're things that help each other a lot. And when I think about sextiles, I always think about like the elements themselves. So we have air and fire. And I like to think a lot of times when you have like a fire going, I mean, air can blow out a fire, if it's a small fire, but if it's a big fire, like a bonfire, and you get like a big gust of wind, it can make it even bigger coming in. And so that's why I like to think that air and fire like each other, because they excite each other. Things are exciting. My need for ideas, air fuels your passion, your desire to do things, to be happy, to experience life. And so I think it can be definitely a positive thing with the North Node and the Moon sextiling each other, an opportunity, even if you have to make some hard decisions, to find more of what it is that you need that makes you happy, and work with other people in the right ways. And I think that in turn is going to help you here, where the South Node Sun thing is, you're going to start to feel more better about your life and where you are going, considering Aquarius rules your goals for the future and Aries rules your identity. So it's going to help you a lot once you figure out what makes you happy and who you need with you and in what ways long term. It's then going to help you to start make sense of your past, of where you see your life going. It's going to help you feel more comfortable to be yourself authentically and to do some of the things that you want and need. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me go back to the chat again. Oh, let me get my mouse. Yeah, Jackie, about your projects closing. Yes, I know. I feel the same way. And like the problem with my life now is I'm not waiting on other people. I feel like it's other people waiting on me. I don't know what my deal is. But yeah, I'm naturally pretty anxious. Have a lot of planets in Gemini, but I'm like, man, when will this get better? Yeah, and someone just mentioned 0 degrees, the critical degree. So I'll go back to, I'm assuming that's about Venus, since Venus is in 0 degrees in this chart. Yeah, the thing about, I'm feeling my pen today, I'll draw. The thing about Venus and Taurus, I like it. It's very positive. Venus is at home in Taurus. It works very freely. I think of when a planet's at home, I'm a Cancer. I think of me being in my own home. I love being in my own home as a Cancer because I can do whatever I want here in the way that I want it. I want to wear what I want to wear. It's fine. You know, I want to make a mess. It's fine. I want to, you know, and so that's the way I feel like Venus is at home. It does what it wants. And when Venus is at home, it's not as messy as I am, that's for sure. It likes stability. It likes security. It likes to do things right. It likes to take its time to make sure things are happening and to make sure things are done very well. And to make sure that it has everything that it needs. So I see Venus and Taurus being very good coming in this next month, really giving you, I like to think, more of the stability that it is that you need, more of the dedication. Taurus, a fixed sign, an earth sign, more of the dedication to do some of these things that right now we're frustrated about. You know, all these planets in Aries, I want to do things. I want to go. I want to make things happen. The square from Capricorn, well, do you really? How do you really want to make things happen? The opposition from Libra, you got to wait and be patient. And then Venus is going to move into Taurus and is going to say, okay, fine. If we have to play this long game that Saturn is making us play in Capricorn, you know, if we have to be dedicated and disciplined, put in lots of hard work that we don't want to put in, then Taurus, Venus moving into Taurus and all these planets coming in the next month are going to say, fine, Saturn, let's do things your way. Venus, all these planets, Taurus trine Saturn, and is going to say, let's wait this out. Let's make this happen. I know the value of things. I understand more or less what it is that you like or want, and we're going to do it. Okay. And so I see Venus and Taurus being a very good thing because it can do what it wants to do very naturally, you know, in a very positive way. Yeah, so I like that a lot. I don't know if I should like talk about my random musings because I don't want to confuse you all. Sometimes I do think, this is just like a little theory of mine, sometimes I actually do think that Venus and Saturn get along very well. I've noticed that sometimes the Venus-Saturn conjunction isn't the best, but you have to remember that Saturn is exalted in Libra, okay? And Libra is a Venus-ruled sign. So there's something about Saturn, if we want to think about this from another perspective, that really likes Libra, you know, because Saturn likes structure. It likes to know things are going to be done and in the right ways. And Libra really gives it the opportunity to get the structure, to understand what needs to be done, to find more of the boundaries that it is that you need, and to make sure there's balance, that everyone's happy in the structure that it is that you're enforcing. So yeah, I don't know. There's like part of me that thinks that Venus and Saturn do kind of in a way get along. That they do complement each other because they're both in some ways ruled by earth signs. Saturn is exalted in Libra, which is an air sign, but it's ruled by Venus. So I don't know. I just like it. I think they work together pretty well. And that Capricorn Saturn knows that if you want to get anything done that's worthwhile, you need other people to do it, and you need balance, and you need to play the long game, and you can't do what needs to be done if you are pushing so hard, depleting all of your resources at the very start of a journey that is just now beginning with so many planets changing. And so I think Saturn's trying to say, okay, like, you're going on a big new journey that's different, that I've been talking to you about for a while. I think a lot of you have heard me say things are changing in a major way. This past, after the new moon in Pisces, really, and a bunch of planets left Sagittarius, and I think now Capricorn's starting to take over more and is saying, okay, Saturn and Capricorn officially beginning here. You got to play the long term, and you're not going to get to where you want to go if you're constantly doing the Aries thing, throwing everything to the wind on a whim because you're passionate about it. You got to put the structure and you got to do the balance. Okay. And you can't do it alone. You need people to go far. You need structure. You need boundaries in place in order to do the things that you want, or else you're going to get burned out later on. And you're going to be so confused. What happened? It was so fun. I was doing everything that, you know, and it's like, well, because you depleted all your resources at the beginning here, when there's a much longer story that's unfolding at the moment, and needing to make sure you've got people in your life and that you're structuring everything in the right way. So I personally, that was a long way of saying, I personally do like Venus and Taurus. I think it's going to bring more of the structure into our life in a way that's much easier for us. Maybe it's hard for us to be dedicated, disciplined now, but I think Venus and Taurus is going to help us understand the value of our work, the value of what it is that we're doing, and give us the patience in order to continue to bring more of that value out of our life. Venus at 0 degrees, because this is the first degree, is like the baby, if you want to think about it. Planets at the beginning degrees are like, they are like the youngest degrees of the sign. So because of that, they to me have more excitement. When you think of like a child, they have more zest for life, you know, more excitement. They don't always do the things right because they haven't learned yet what needs to be done. So even though I think Venus will give us more of the dedication, more of the patience to do what needs to be done, to understand the value of hard work and what we're doing, I think it's going to take a few weeks as more planets and as Venus moves throughout Taurus for us to really fully understand just what needs to be done and how, and for all of that to start to sink in here about how we can build more stability into our life. All right. And we may think after this full moon in Libra that we've got more of it figured out. Okay, finally, I know what I need in order to build something long term. Finally, I'm playing the long game. But I think the further as Venus moves through Taurus, we're going to realize that there are a bunch of structures and things we need to make happen to put into our life before we can really move forward. And you just want to make sure that, yeah, that you're thinking more seriously about what's going on. Yeah. I know, I'm trying to think, is there anything else about Venus, the beginning degrees of Taurus? I think that's all I have to say there, unless something else hits me. Let's go back to the chat. Let me refresh, see if anything comes up. Thanks, Herb. I appreciate that. Ah, yes, Alyssa, very impromptu. I'm doing it. What would be a good love match for Libra? All right, let me give you a quick lesson on compatibility. Then I'll read a few more questions and then we'll do the sun sign. So Libra, if you want to look for compatibility, and granted, this is just sun sign compatibility, so there's a lot of other things in your chart that you're going to need to take into consideration. But when I think of compatibility, I like to think of the signs that sextile the sign. So if we're looking at compatibility for Libra, you want what's going to sextile Libra, which is going to be your fire signs, okay? So Sagittarius, I would recommend for a Libra. A Leo, I would recommend for a Libra. Those to me would be my best choices for that. Also, I would recommend an Aries for a Libra. It opposes it though, okay? So there could be some kind of compromise that's needed with an Aries and a Libra. They may not always see eye to eye, but they're a good match because they complement each other. That's why opposites are good matches. Again, they can take some compromise, but they're good because a Libra can say, look, I care about other people, but sometimes I forget about myself, about what I need. And that's why a Libra's good match is the opposite sign in Aries, because an Aries says, oh, like, I got you. Like, you never think about yourself. I think about myself all the time. Like, you go think about other people. I'll make sure we get ourselves taken care of. So that's why opposite signs are good, but sometimes they require compromise because a Libra might think to an Aries, what? You're going to make sure we're okay? That's selfish. What do you mean? I've been spending my whole life making sure everyone else is taken care of, and now you're going to do this. And so it can require kind of understanding the way those signs work. All right. Squares right here are going to be your Capricorn and your Cancer. I think they can be a good match, but they require some effort. To me, the squares are where you get a lot of lessons in relationships. They teach you lessons. They're in your life to challenge you to help you understand better who you are and what it is that you are really all about. So that's what I see going on with the squares, with the Capricorn and a Cancer. Maybe doing things very differently and needing to figure out, okay, how can we do both coming in? So if you want to talk about stereotypes, Libras being all about other people, Cancers being all about home and family, maybe that being a little bit hard for a Libra to coming in, you know, trying to be diplomatic all the time. And a Cancer's all about home. Well, we got to make sure my home's okay. What about my parents? You know, we got to go over my parents for Christmas. And a Libra's like, well, what about my parents? What about all these 100 other people that are coming in? And so they have to learn how to do both. Okay, well, fine. We'll spend this time at your parents here. And then maybe we won't go to see my friends this year. We'll do something else. So there's like some hard things that can come in. I think the squares just bring challenges that you can learn and grow from. A lot of growth in relationships with squares. But I would look if there's a square for other planets to be like in positive aspects in your chart. hopefully that helped. So that was just a basic framework, and that like goes for any sign. So I'm a Gemini. We want to use that as an example. And I would go for, sorry, I need to get a, I should just erase this all at once. But I'm a Gemini. Where's my Gemini here? So a good match for me, I would recommend would be an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius would be, I think, the opportunity that would come in. And of course, you know, because this is kind of interesting, I don't always go for these, to be honest. I was like, I get really excited with Aries, but sometimes we kind of fight a little bit, which is like it's kind of like a fun, it's like a flirty kind of fighting with Aries. But there's that. So yeah, so I would say that. And then the squares, you get like a square to Virgo. So Virgos, I learn a lot from them in relationships because they do things a little bit different for me. Pisces. But yeah, so hopefully that'll just give you something to think about. But compatibility is a lot more complex than that. Okay. Sorry, just looking through the comments. Let's see. So Italia, you have Saturn in the 12th house in Pisces, but my first house is Pisces. Would that affect both houses? I mean, if it's, yeah, it would do that. How can I explain this for you in a simple way? Because this is more of like a complex, like advanced kind of astrology thing. But to me, wherever a planet is in your chart, just to answer your question, Natalia, I wish well, can I use an example? All right, Italia, wherever a planet is in your chart is where the main action takes place. So if you have Saturn in your 12th house in Pisces, that's where Saturn is. Saturn is not in your first house. Saturn's in your 12th, all right? And Saturn in the 12th house brings issues with boundaries, setting your boundaries in a lot of ways. Also, I can see controlling your mind, like your thoughts sometimes, letting like your thoughts run away with you in some way, or maybe not feeling like people understand you emotionally in some way. So it's definitely a 12th house Saturn, but whatever happens with that 12th house Saturn will ultimately affect your first house because Pisces rules the first. So the outcome of whatever decisions, whatever it is that you feel with your 12th house Saturn is going to ultimately either make some change or affect who you are in some way. All right. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a 12th house Saturn. So I wouldn't like consider the influence too much on your first house. I'm going to think about that one. I'll think about that one for you because I know some of you ask some really good questions that I end up thinking about seriously for like hours after and days. And I'm like, did I give that person good advice? Like, was that right? Was that not? I might have to do some more research on that too to help you. But I definitely like see a lot of stuff in astrology. Like it's not isolated. Like these planets aren't, and I think that's like the hardest, sometimes a hard thing to understand about astrology, and sometimes kind of hard for me is that I really want to think of like each of these planets as isolated things, you know, like Neptune in Pisces is only going to act in this one way and it's not going to affect anything else. And I think it gets hard to realize that like, even though it's like everything is separate but connected, and I think that's what makes astrology sometimes hard for people to understand and to learn, is to like find that balance between like, what does this mean as in like an individual aspect, but then how does it play a part in like the larger dynamic of my life? Yeah, great question. I also don't mind, sorry, compatibility. Someone's asking about the, I don't mind trines as well. So like a Virgo and a Taurus could work. I see trines more as friends though. So like earth signs and earth signs, to me, trines more friendly, which is fine. You want a lover that's a friend, you know, and so it's not a bad thing, but Okay, maybe I'll go in so that I don't like start getting all philosophical. I'll go in now and do um your sun signs. Okay, so let's go into that. Someone did ask really quick about Chiron. Yeah, Chiron. I mean, Chiron's going to change signs this month, so it's going to change things quite a bit. And I think with Chiron still in Pisces, maybe there's still some old stuff from the past that we're trying to get over coming in, even though we're starting to move forward and just having to kind of like deal with that one last time. To deal with our past, to deal with some kind of internal emotional stuff going on with the 29 degrees. It can definitely heighten some of our emotional sensitivities coming in. But I think we're really trying to move past that at this time. I think we're getting there. I'll talk more about that in my April webinar. So yeah, so sign up for that. All right, so now let's do sun signs really quick. Wow, what time is it? Okay, okay, good. I was like, have I already been talking for an hour? I did not plan this. All right, sun signs. I'm gonna start with Aries now, and then one day I'll go backwards. So here we are for the full moon in Libra, Aries, first house. Coming in. So that's going to most closely resemble everything I just talked about. It's going to put the full moon here, either an ending or a culmination in regards to your relationships in your seventh house and finding more balance in your life. With the square to Capricorn, in order for you to figure out what relationships you need in your life, how to work with people, or how to restore the balance in your life in a way that's fair. Libra also cares about fairness. You're going to need to think long term about where your life is going. All right, so I see that happening. The more you can think about your relationships and balance and restore the balance in your life by thinking long term, it's going to help you here where Leo is to be much happier moving forward, doing some things that you enjoy with the sextile to the North Node. All right, and then Venus as well and Taurus going to help you find more of that stability in life that you're looking for. All right, so that's what's going on with Aries. Now I'm going to go to Taurus. All right, I got to make sure I draw, let me write the name, Taurus, because I'm doing your horoscope, first house. Coming in, that's going to put the full moon here in your sixth of your job and your daily routines. So perhaps what's going on, the relationships at work that need tending to, relationships on the day-to-day that are coming in. Also balance at work. Maybe there's too much work that you're doing or too much following what other people want at work or something along those lines, and really needing to figure out how to restore the balance when it comes to your job and what you do on the day-to-day in order so that you can start to feel more comfortable with all these planets here in your 12th house. Inside. May have to make decisions here where Capricorn is, which for you is going to be in your ninth house of something new. So you may have to figure out, in order for you to work better with people on the day-to-day, to have a job or set of daily routines that you like, maybe have to consider doing a new job, a new set of daily routines in some way. Maybe also have to thinking about what makes you passionate and excited. I think comes in with the ninth house too. Can be a really big thing for you as well. Having to figure out how you can bring more passion into your daily routines. That can also help you with the full moon. And also your beliefs come in with the ninth house. Maybe having to figure out, what do you believe when it comes to your job in some way before you can figure that out. If you can restore the balance with what you do on the day-to-day so that everything's not so crazy and hectic, so that you're working with people in the right way, I think it's going to help you here with the North Node in Leo, which is going to be your fourth house. It's going to help you at home to have more stability at home, at your home life. Once you get your job in order, maybe doing something new here, it's going to help you to feel more comfortable in life, to have a better home life, to work better with your family, or even with fourth house, to just feel better emotionally, like you're more comfortable emotionally and like you're finally building something that's good for you. All right, Venus moving into your sign here too, also helping you to do some things that are really, really important to you in some way, and to start to feel more confident with you as who you are as a person as you start to figure out your job, doing something new perhaps that excites you, that makes you more comfortable inside. All right, that's Taurus. We've got Gemini. I can write that. Excuse my chicken scratch. Never been blessed with great handwriting. um, okay, sometimes I joke, I'm like, it's a doctor's handwriting. Maybe it's my South Node in Virgo. But here we are, Gemini, first house. It's going to put the moon for you right here in Libra in your fifth house of happiness, love, romance, what it is that you enjoy. So maybe there being something that's out of balance there in some way, not feeling like you're as happy as you want to be, feeling like, yeah, things are right all over the place. Maybe kids, spending a lot of time doing things with kids, or romantic relationships that are not allowing you in some way to do what it is that you want to do, needing to figure out how you can restore the balance in your life so that you can be happier more regularly, so that you can work with people to be happy in some way that can really support you here, where Aries is in your 11th, reaching some of your goals and dreams. All right, needing to figure out what you can do to be more happy, or to be happier in the right ways, or to work with people that can make you happy so you can envision your life in the right ways, feel more comfortable in your life, do some things that you need. All right, in order to resolve this tension, if there is some, you would need to look to where Capricorn is, which for you is in your 8th house of endings and beginnings. So maybe having to make some changes in your life, make some changes to what it is that makes you happy, changes to passion projects as well. 5th house rules passion projects, or to some of your relationships in those regards, so that you can be happier in some way. Okay, some kind of ending or beginning coming in regards to a passion project, something you enjoy, or a romantic relationship, something along those lines, so that you can start to move forward. Could also be with the 8th house, financial investment, maybe in order to be happy, or like maybe having to go deeper in relationships with people. If you're not like making some change to end a relationship or to begin one, then maybe taking some relationship and really needing to go deeper with it to understand emotionally what's really going on beneath it all. Okay, the more you can figure out what makes you happy, and to maybe make some changes there in order to figure out how you can be happier more regularly and more balanced in that expression, I think it's going to help you here, where the North Node is in your 3rd, to communicate more about what's going on with you, to be more open about what it is that you really like, to start to work with people in your community in some way. All right, and Venus moving into Taurus, coming in, which is your 12th house, going to help you to find more of that piece that maybe you've been missing, to finally feel like, you know what, maybe I can let the past be the past and move forward, to finally feel right, more confident inside, internally, with what's going on. All right, hopefully that helps. We've got Cancer next. All right, Cancer. Right here, it's because I'm doing a Cancer's horoscope. It's on the 1st house. We've got the full moon happening, 4th house. Home and family emotions could come in. So that brings a lot of the focus to finding balance emotionally. It's a big thing for me. How can you balance out your emotions? Also working with home and family. How can you work with your home and family in the right ways as well? Relationships at home also can just be important relationships with the 4th house. How can you work better with relationships in some way to make you feel more comfortable? Figuring out how you can restore that balance with other people at home or emotionally is then going to help you, where all these planets are in Aries in your 10th house, to put your life in a better place, to have the career that it is that you really want in some way. I also know of a lot of Cancers moving for work, so this could definitely be the ending of a home life or something coming in, something at home, so that you can start to focus more on your career in a way that you like and putting your life in the right direction. Some of the things, the choices that are going to come in here with this are going to be where Capricorn is in your 7th house, relationships. So maybe in order for you to bring more of your emotions back into balance, or to figure out what's going on with home, or to work better with relationships at home, again, it's going to be a lot about people for you, needing to make decisions about people, who's in your life, who's not, how do you interact with the people in your life, in what way. I think being big. 7th house too sometimes comes to like contracts and commitments. So I don't know if you've signed a contract or made some commitment lately. There can also be something in regards around that maybe needs to be worked out, especially with Mercury going retrograde, before you can finally understand what it is that you need to balance your emotions, to work better with your home life and do some other things. All right, if you can figure out what's going on at home, it's going to help you here, where the North Node is, 2nd house. Money is going to help you to bring more money in. Also confidence, be more confident and just use more of your gifts and skills and talents once you find that balance working with other people in a way that feels better for you. And then we do have Venus here moving into your 11th house, helping you to feel more authentically yourself and like you're making some more progress, reaching some goals and dreams of yours. Okay. Let's see. Now I'll go to Leo. Then after I do Virgo, I'll be, well, or should I wait till, maybe I'll wait till Libra, then I'll look at the chat again. So here we are with Leo. Because I'm doing Leo's horoscope, first house. Here it is. We've got the full moon, third house, talk and communication. This can bring up lots of talking, lots of communication, going on, lots of exploring ideas. Sometimes your mind can run away with you with this coming in, needing to find more of that mental balance so that your thoughts aren't getting the best of you, so that you aren't thinking a lot. Maybe needing to make sure that you're communicating with people in a way that's balanced, communicating with relationships in the right way. Could be a thing that could come in here. Also working with your community, neighbors, siblings with the third house, needing to make sure that you're restoring the balance there, or working with your siblings and neighbors as well in positive ways. You're doing all this communicating and trying to get things right with your community so that you can start to do something new here with the sun in your ninth house. Travel, study, do something you have not done before. The ninth house is also a very exciting one. A lot of exciting things come in with the ninth, and maybe needing to make sure that you are pacing yourself, your mind, that your mind's not getting ahead of you as you're doing some new and exciting things moving forward, and that you're working with people in the right ways in the process. Okay, in order to do this, you may have to make some decisions here. Capricorn, sixth house, your job and your daily routines. So in order for you to maybe find more of that balance mentally with your life, to work with people in your community or that are right around you in your immediate environment, maybe in order to do that, you need to figure out what's going on with your job, what's going on with your daily routines. What kind of job do you want? What kind of set of daily routines? Maybe health as well comes in with the sixth house. And I think if you can figure out what's going on with your job, maybe there's a lot of communicating or thinking about your job. It's then going to help you here to do more things that you want to do that are new and exciting, and to think about them in better ways, to work with people to do those new things better. All right, if you can figure out how to communicate and think about what's going on, especially when it comes to your job, your daily routines, I think it's going to help you here where the North Node is in your first house to be more excited about life, about who you are, to feel much better, much happier all around. Venus moving into your 10th, I think going to give you that boost too, to start to feel like you're putting your life in the right direction in some way. You're doing some things that are important to you. You're increasing your social standing, your reputation in a way that really resonates with you, that can last. All right. So I do like Venus moving into Taurus, but just needing here to figure out this T-square, make the choices about your job, what you do on the day-to-day, how you communicate about your daily routines, so that you can feel much better about where your life is going. All right. Virgo. Here's Virgo. First house. And it's going to put the full moon right here. Second, money. Your second house of your money, your gifts and skills and talents, stability in some way. So maybe there's an imbalance with money. Not a lot of money coming in some way, or not feeling super stable in life, or not feeling super valued, especially when it comes to the relationships in your life in some way. Could be the opposite. Could be you starting to feel like you're finally getting a hang of these things in some way, but could also bring up some kind of imbalance, needing to make sure that you have the stability that you need, that you have people in your life that value you, and that the money coming in is just as good as or better than the money going out. Could be a big thing coming in with the second house. All right. And the reason why you're trying to get your stability in order is so that you can start here where Aries is, to make some big changes in life that you need to make to get deeper in life in some way. 8th house. What may help you resolve this tension is if you think more seriously about what's going on in Capricorn, which for you is going to be in your 5th house of happiness, love, romance, kids. Maybe in order for you to feel more stability in your life, you need to see what is happening with children. What do I do with kids? What do I need to make me happy? not just about bringing money in, but how can I bring money in a way that I really like? So that can also be the question that comes in as well. What else? Passion projects too were ruled by the fifth house. So if you have some kind of entrepreneurial venture, maybe you have to make some choices and decisions first about what that entrepreneurial venture is and what it looks like and what you really want it to be before you can do the money thing and feel more stable with it. Okay. So that could be coming in. I know that could be like, I know the eighth house sometimes can make it hard, but I think you need to figure out first what makes you happy, and in what way to bring more stability in before things start coming together. And I think if you can figure that out, then it's going to help you here where the moon is making a sextile to the north node in your 12th house. It's going to help you to feel more comfortable on the inside, more whole, more at peace. It may still be hard for you with the 8th house, may still be some big changes, some heavy stuff that you have to work on. But if you can figure out first what's going to make you happy and how you can do this happy thing in a more stable way, I think it's definitely going to bring an opportunity for you to let some things go, overcome some things from the past, feel more at peace. And then Venus moving into Taurus in your 9th, I want to think starting to help you see more of the excitement of the future, starting to help you understand what new things you need to do and really begin to build a new life based on some of these changes that you're making to do more of the things that you really enjoy in a stable way. All right. Okay. Now let me do Libra. Then I'm going to take a break for a second, look at the chat, and come back and do the rest of them. All right, here's Libra. All right, first house, full moon in your sign, happens once a year. We each get one full moon and one new moon in our sign once a year. So this is going to be some kind of ending culmination in regards to yourself and who it is that you are. Maybe there's something that's just, out of balance for you in your life, in relationships. Could also be, what is this? Are you just trying to get yourself in order? I mean, you naturally are familiar with like the energy of Libra. So could just be you focusing on yourself at this full moon. Who am I? What do I need? So that you can later on give yourself more fully over here where Aries is in your 7th house to your relationships. Okay. And I think before you can start to focus more on relationships and the way that you want, you need to decide here where Capricorn is in your 4th house, home and family. And emotions, what do I need to feel emotionally comfortable? What do I need to feel more stable and secure in life in some way? What in my life do I want to build something on that's really important to me? And I think if you can figure out what's going on with your home and family, what's going on with your emotions, and what you need in order to build something in your life that can last, it's going to make it easier for you to move forward on some relationship stuff, feeling much better in your relationships. All right, I see that coming in. It's also going to help you if you can do that here where the North Node is in your 11th house to reach some big goals and dreams of yours, to feel more comfortable with who it is that you are in some way, and to socialize, to be out and about a little bit. But first, needing to decide, what do I need emotionally to feel more solid and secure in life, and what foundation do I want to build my life on at home? All right, also Venus moving into Taurus over here, your 8th house, going to help you, which is kind of like a weird thing. It's a weird, I guess Libra, all the signs are like opposite of where they're supposed to be, but it's weird because you've got Taurus, which rules the 2nd house and the 8th house here. And I think whenever you can figure out what foundation you want to build your life on, in some way that's really important to you, I think Venus and Taurus is going to help you to start make some positive changes in your life in a way that can last, for you to start feeling better about the changes that you're making, and like the changes that you're making in life really do value or really are based on something that it is that you value. All right. And maybe even with the Venus, changes to help you bring more money to you. So that can go on there. All right. Now I'm just going to look at the chat for a second. Yeah, when did I start this? I don't even remember. Did I start this at 7? I think I did. Okay. Oh, gotta get my mouse back. Awesome. Yes, Debbie, you missed Cancer, but you can always watch this after. You can watch it after. or I'm going to upload it to YouTube. Okay. Okay. All right. So then I'll go through the rest. Sorry, I just looked through the chat. Let's start back with Scorpio. Scorpio, first house. All right. What that's going to bring, full moon in your 12th house. This is actually, since the 12th house is like a private part of your chart, so you may not feel this as as much outwardly as other people would feel it coming in. But this could definitely be just more of you trying to get more in touch with yourself internally, spiritually, to feel more comfortable with your life in some way, finding more, balance spiritually. Maybe looking for more of a spiritual practice, how you can, right, just get more comfortable with what's going on inside you, because this is the 12th house. Even though relationships could be important, I feel like if they are, they're either going to be private relationships that you aren't super public about, or it's going to be a relationship with yourself. I feel coming in with the 12th house, Scorpio, that maybe is what you're trying to work on. Okay. And you're trying to get yourself in order and to feel right spiritually and internally with you inside, so that you can start to devote more time here to the 6th house, where Aries is, your job, your daily routines. And I think you're trying to prepare internally so that you can meet the demands of the day. And so that maybe you can also 6th house health, work on your health too. And have the mind, like the body spirit connection going on. All right. So I think that's what your focus is. In order to make this easier, you may first have to figure out what's going on with Capricorn, which for you is in your 3rd house of talk and of communication with the Saturn and Mars thing. All right. So in order for you to feel more comfortable with your life spiritually, internally, you may have to do, again, the total mind, body, spirit thing for you, Scorpio, that I'm feeling. You may have to figure out what's going on in your mind. Maybe how you're thinking about your life is blocking your progress. Maybe you need to change the way that you think about your life. Maybe also the way that you're communicating. Maybe there's some way you need to communicate with people differently so that they can fully understand what's going on with you. Maybe you need to communicate more about what is going on inside you in some way. That can also come up with this, that can help make you easier. Maybe also working with neighbors or siblings. Maybe they can offer you some support that you need as well. And really needing to figure out that aspect, your thoughts and how you're communicating, before you can start to feel more comfortable with who you are, doing some things on the day-to-day. Also, once you figure out the communication part, it's also going to help you here with the moon making a sextile to the North Node. 10th house, career, to start to feel like you're putting your life in a better spot here, increasing your reputation and your social standing in some way, or just doing some things that are important to you, but needing to make sure your mind, body, and spirit are in the right place before you can feel like your life is going in the right direction. Venus also in Taurus in the 7th here, helping you with relationships, to bring more stability into your relationships in some way. I think helping you to have good relationships that you value in some way while you're trying to work all this other stuff out. Okay, maybe communication being an important part of bringing the stability in the relationships. All right, let's go to Sagittarius. All right, here we are. Sag. Perfect. What we've got, full moon for you, your 11th house of your goals, your dreams, and your hopes for the future. So what that could definitely bring, I want to say, some kind of ending or completion in regards to who you are, where you see your life going, some things that are important to you in some way. Maybe also social groups come in. If you have a group of people that you associate with, in some way, maybe having to restore some of the balance there. Start to associate with groups of people, friends, with that house that get you better. Could also be a thing that comes up. Maybe there could also be at the 11th house, what could be out of balance there? Lots of goals and dreams for the future coming in. Not bad to have lots of goals and dreams for the future, but maybe needing to pick which ones are the best for you in some way. Also, can also have a lot to do with relationships, who you're working with, trying to restore the balance in relationships in a way that really can help you feel more comfortable and do some things that that you like and enjoy. Okay. And I think the reason why you're trying to figure out here who you're socializing with and where you kind of see your life going, what your dreams are for the future, is so that you can finally do the Aries thing, 5th house, start to move forward, doing more of what makes you happy. So now that I know where my life is going, now that I know who's on board with me, now I can actually spend the time more of my head down, doing things that I enjoy, working on passion projects, kids, romance, things like that. All right. If you're finding it hard here to find that balance between where you see your life going and putting the work in to actually do something that you really like and that makes you happy, maybe the choice here that you need to figure out in Capricorn, 2nd house, money, stability in some way, needing to figure out, okay, I got lots of goals, I have lots of dreams, lots of things that I want, but which ones are going to bring me the most stability? Which ones are going to get the biggest bang for their buck here? Bring in the most income? Which ones use the most skills that I have authentically and uniquely in some way? And which ones do I value the most? Okay, which relationships with groups of people do I value? And which of my dreams for the future are the right ones for me that can do what needs to be done in a very practical way? All right, so that could be the thing coming up for you that can help you figure out what goals are important to you and what makes you happy and how you can move forward on those. Once you figure that out, I do see, though, there being an opportunity where the North Node is for you in your 9th house to find more passion, more excitement in life, and do something new and exciting that you really want to do, traveling, studying, finding adventure, and you just needing to figure out, okay, what's going to bring me more stability in my life? What is going to use more of my unique gifts and talents before I can start to be happy doing something that I'm excited about? Venus here moving into Taurus in your 6th, also helping you with your job and your daily routines to have a better job, a better set of daily routines, better health. And I think once you figure out what will bring in the most money for you, what will bring you the more stability, your job's going to get easier. It's going to get more exciting for you to do some things you need. And you'll be able to focus more on what makes you happy. All right. Thank you all. For those of you who are hanging in there with me, let's get to Capricorn. All right, this is going to be the 1st house since I'm doing Capricorns. Full moon is going to be here in your 10th house of career. So this could definitely be some kind of course ending, culmination, completion in regards to your career, who it is that you work with that can help you put your life in the right direction. So maybe important relationships as well could come into this. Maybe there being some kind of important relationships that are really helpful for you in your career and having to figure out how to work with these relationships in the right way, in a balanced way, in a way that works for you. It could also be a lot to do with your career. Maybe there's like too much going on, because I'm trying to think balance, like Libra's balance, things being out of balance. So maybe there could be some things that are out of balance in your career in some way, needing to figure out where your life is going, in what direction, and who it is that you're working with in a more balanced way so that you can start to feel more comfortable with your life and focus more here where Aries is 4th house, home and family. Maybe there's too much with the career going on and maybe needing to be more with home. Could also be a thing, or maybe trying to figure out what you need emotionally to feel emotionally comfortable with what's going on with your life and your life direction. And I think you're just trying to restore the balance so that you're working with the right people that are important, that can help you do some things that you want to put your life in the right direction, and that the career that you've chosen also maybe making sure that you're approaching that in a more balanced way so you can feel more comfortable in life. If you're having problems resolving that tension, the opposition, again, focusing here in Capricorn, your 1st house, where Saturn and Mars are, who are you? What do you really want? What's important to you all around in some way? If things are hard for you to figure out your career and your home life, I think you first need to decide, what do you want? What's best for you? And where do you see your life going? And I think that will help you understand better who you need in your life and what direction you see it going in. It'll also help you here with the North Node in your 8th to change your career for the better, change your life direction in some way going in. All right, maybe that's what maybe needed, some kind of change so that you can start to feel better about where everything's going. And it's also going to help you here with Venus moving into Taurus, your 5th house, to be happier, I think, in a very positive way. Once you decide where you see your life going, who it's going with, and what's important to you, yeah, I see lots of chance for happiness, to feel more comfortable in your life, and to make some changes, to do some things that are really important to you. All right, Aquarius. We've got you right here. It's going to put this full moon in your 9th house, something new and different that you have not done before, in some way coming in or ending, I guess. Trying to figure out how you can do something new in a more balanced way, how you can work with other people. Maybe new relationships have been a thing, lots of new relationships lately, trying to figure out how to work with these new relationships or how to do something that excites you in a more balanced way. Maybe also lots of travel has been going on in the 9th house, and study, and needing to find more balance in regards to studying if you're at college, or in what you're, the way that you're traveling. And I think the reason why you're trying to find this balance and figure out what to do with these new relationships is that you can focus more here where Aries is, and the sun coming in your 3rd house, communicating with people about what's going on with you, working more with your community in some way, and making some new things familiar. And before you can make these new things familiar, you need to figure out what's going on with your relationships, any new relationships that it is that you have. And if there's anything new that you're doing, finding the balance there. In order to make that easier, you may have to look here where Mars and Saturn are in your 12th house. In order for you to figure out, what do I do with this new thing, this new relationship? How do I make it easier on myself? Having to figure out, okay, what do you need spiritually? What do you need internally in order to feel better with all of this going on? Maybe figuring out, yeah, what's going to bring you the most spiritual peace or spiritual comfort. Maybe also with that as well, having to overcome some things from the past could be a big thing. The past may be playing out here in some way, and having to overcome the past so that you can bring more balance here, doing something new, and start to make it more familiar and communicate about it. I think if you can figure that out, it's then going to help you here where the North Node is, 7th house. Again, relationships coming in. It's going to help you to start to work with people in new and better ways. So I do see there being a lot of good things. Yeah, 9th house. It's also going to help you here where Venus is in Taurus, 4th house for you. To feel more at home, to feel more emotionally comfortable, more emotionally secure, and to work better with your home and family. And you first needing to make sure that you're taking some new thing, making it more familiar, and doing it in a way that really resonates with you before the comfort can come in emotionally, and before the people will be there to meet you. All right. Hoping all of that makes sense. Okay. And then the last sign, Pisces, and then I'll look at the chat one more time and let you all go to sleep. Okay, Pisces, here, this is your 1st house. And what we've got here, the full moon is going to be right here in Libra. And that for you, I'm going to say is what, your 8th house? Let me just double check that. Yeah, your 8th house. Okay, and what that's going to bring, some kind of big change in your life. Maybe there's been lots of changes going on in your life, changes in relationships, just changes in general. And I think what you're trying to figure out is how these changes can come to an end in some way, so that you can finally find more of that stability that it is that you want in life here with Aries in your 2nd, and actually begin to live some of these changes that it is that you're making, instead of having everything be up in the air and you're just trying to figure out, yeah, how you can do these changes and work with people in the right ways to bring more of that stability in. If that's hard for you, again, needing to look here for your way out, Capricorn. Not even for, I don't even know if I would consider it a way out, but needing to look here as some big choice or decision to help solve some of this. And that's going to be for you in your 11th house, of where it is that you see your life going in some way, and of who it is that you are. So in order to bring more of the stability back into your life, maybe needing to figure out, right, where you see your life going, what is going to make you feel the most authentically yourself in your life. Think about what you dream for the future. Could also be socializing, who it is that you want to socialize with, and friends. Maybe as well with the 8th, 11th house thing, maybe needing to make some changes to your friend group, maybe needing to make some changes to where it is you see your life going and to who it is that you are authentically, in order to start to let more of this stability into your life, bring more money into you, and feel more confident with the 2nd house. Okay, if you can do that, bring all of these 3 things together, I think it's going to help you here where the North Node is in the 6th, to have a better job, a better set of daily routines, a job or a set of daily routines that you like better. Also, maybe to change your health in a positive way once you figure out who you are authentically, where you see your life going, and how you can do that in a way that's more stable. Venus as well, moving into Taurus in your 3rd, I think helping you to communicate better with other people. If perhaps that's been hard, I think it's also going to help you to just stabilize your mind, to think in the right ways, and to hopefully calm down so that you can hopefully feel better, building more of that stability in the way that you communicate and think about your life. All right. So that's what I've got going on there. Now let me take a look at the chat and see if any of y'all are still there with me. Okay. Okay. Sweet. Here, I'll go ahead and I'll stop the share. And then I'll just answer some questions, and then I'll say goodnight to you all. All right, I'm not seeing too many comments. Thanks for waiting around, Debbie. Teresa, you can watch the replay of this. I did talk about Libra and Aries in general, since that's what the full moon's in. And then I also talked about it by each sign. And you can catch the replay here on Facebook, or I'll upload it to YouTube. And you can find it there as well. Okay, I think that's all I got. I'm not seeing too many comments come in. I know it's getting kind of late, but I do want to say thank you all so much for hanging in there with me. I appreciate that. I hope you all have a good night, and I hope that this full moon treats you well. If you have any comments, questions, feel free, post them below, comment on my channels. You all know I see those, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.